Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Been talking a lot of Switch news, and as I said in my last video, kind of light on actual news right now. It's just a lot of speculation and a lot of guessing going on. Not with just the Switch, but just video game stuff in general. There's just not a ton of stuff out there for us right now to speculate and talk on. But we do have a new system on the horizon. And honestly, I want to do some wild speculation for the Switch too. Like my last video, I talked about how Phil Spencer and I think I said Phil Spector. I'm thinking something completely different in the last video. But Phil Spencer was talking to the president of Nintendo and saying how excited he was to put some games out on the Switch 2. Which I mean, in all honesty, he should be, because the Switch 2 killing it when it comes to. Well, I shouldn't say. Well, Switch 2 is killing it when it comes to news and capturing the zeitgeist, but the Switch killed it with hardware sales. So, I mean, putting your game, especially if it's a good game, out on the Switch 2 just makes perfect sense, because there's no reason not to think the Switch 2, maybe not as successful as the Switch 1, but not going to be, successful. So, got me thinking. We could talk about the boring stuff, the stuff we know we're gonna get, like your Mario Kart 9 and things like that. But I was like, why don't we do a little wild speculation here? Let's really like go off the rails and like almost a wish list, but maybe wishes that can come true. So I thought I'd start the conversation with you all. I'll just add some things that I'm kind of hoping for, and that might be possible with the Switch 2. So let's start off with online features. First and foremost, hopefully we just get regular online play, like no apps, no nothing. We just put a headset in, plug it into our controller, plug it into the system, and we can just chat with people in a chat room, in the game lobby, whatever. Something simple, Nintendo, please. And I haven't played Switch Online since the Switch first started, so maybe they've done that by now. So feel free to correct me in the comments if they have. Like when I go online and if I play some Mario Kart or Smash Brothers, I don't even try to converse with anybody. I just play. So you might be able to just do it like an Xbox or a PlayStation or a PC now. I don't know. I've never tried. I just remember the app and everyone losing their mind over that. But if we don't have it yet, hopefully we get it. And let's think of like Switch Online. Something, I just have this feeling with Microsoft's, this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox. Could a Switch 2 be an Xbox? Could we get Game Pass on the Switch 2? I almost said, could we get Game Pass on the Xbox? Could we get Game Pass on the Switch 2? I think there's a possibility. I mean, the technical side of everything with Switch Online and everything, I'm sure it probably would just work as an app with like Netflix or YouTube, what have you, on the Switch. So I think it's possible. Would Microsoft do it? I think they would. Would Nintendo allow them to do it? That, I don't know if they would do that. But having the Switch 2 have Game Pass, I think would be an awesome feature. I think it would do wonders for Game Pass subscriptions. Because you got to think right now, the Switch has 150 million plus consoles out there. Not necessarily 150 million people own a Switch, but 150 have been bought. And let's just say 130 million are individual people who own a Switch. I mean, if you can get Game Pass into a quarter of those hands, that's 40 million right there. I'm sorry, 30 million. 30 to 40 million right there. So, I mean, that's a ton of new subscribers to Game Pass. A lot of new subscribers who might not have an Xbox, so they take advantage of that. So I think bringing Game Pass to the Switch 2 makes a ton of sense for Microsoft. Does it make sense for Nintendo? I don't know, because like, what does Nintendo get out of it? Do they get a cut of subscriptions through the Switch? Something like that. So it might not be beneficial for Nintendo, but I think be very beneficial for Microsoft and something cool to see. Because I know there has been speculation about Game Pass, wild speculation, I should say, Game Pass coming to the PlayStation 4 or 5, whenever those rumors first started, and nothing's come of it. But I think that'd be something cool. I don't know if like someone like me and probably you who has Game Pass Ultimate, if the Switch would be included in that, like PC is included in Ultimate, or if you would need a separate account for the Switch. I would guess you would need a separate account for the Switch if they brought Game Pass there. But I think that would just be a cool idea for Microsoft. to pitch, and I can almost guarantee Phil is probably, if he hasn't pitched it already to Nintendo, he's working on a pitch. So staying on the online and games that you don't own but you pay for a service to play them. Let's go to Switch Online. I expect the expansion pack to expand with the Switch 2, so maybe we get GameCube games. If it gets GameCube games, it should be able to play Wii and Wii U games. Should be. I mean, you can definitely play Wii U games. They port Wii U games, but I'm talking about on the expansion service. But I would be very satisfied to get just GameCube, because a lot of the Wii games got ported to the Wii U and then, or got remasters on the Wii U and then got also ported to the Switch. And I'll talk about some other ports that we haven't seen on the Switch that I think we might get later on. But yeah, having GameCube go up there and we just can play a ton of GameCube games, especially first-person Nintendo games, that'd be great. Star Fox Assault, Star Fox Adventure, F-Zero. No, we didn't get an F-Zero game for. No, we did. F-Zero DX, GX, Wave Race, Blue Storm, awesome game. Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, all the fun games we got for the GameCube. Mario Sunshine, maybe a better port than what we got in the 3D All Stars pack. But that would be cool. And also thinking Nintendo-wise, like DS games coming to Switch Online. That would be really cool. Not sure how you would deal with the dual screen aspect of it. If you'd get the two boxes on your TV, which would work better on the TV. I don't know how well that would work in handheld mode. But, you just get the two boxes and play it that way. Wouldn't be too bad on TV. I think it would be kind of iffy on the smaller port screen. But sticking with that, we do have Genesis on the expansion right now. I mean, what if we got Sega Saturn, Dreamcast? I would say if they were to pick one, even though it's a little more powerful, I think they'd go Dreamcast over Saturn. And I say that only because the Dreamcast has the bigger cult following. I think that would be the bigger draw for people. Because I think you can talk to a lot of people who were around in the 90s and the 2000s who played video games. I think they could name way more Dreamcast games than they could name Saturn games. I have a Saturn, and just off the top of my head, just thinking, I can name way, way more Dreamcast games than Saturn. But I also owned a Dreamcast back in the day, and I didn't own a Saturn. So, I mean, that does fall into some of it. But having those two systems also on Nintendo Online would be really cool. I don't know how much Sega would want to do that, considering they seem to be, I don't know what they're doing, like Jet Grind Radio or Jet Set Radio and stuff like that. If these in Crazy Taxi, if these are going to be remakes, remasters, what are they going to be? Or just new entries into the series? I don't think they've really said what they are for that part, but yeah. Seeing the Dreamcast and or Saturn come to the expansion with the rumored price hikes for Nintendo Online, adding these systems would help soften that blow. All right, now let's get into the games. So this wild speculation for games, I'm going to say this right now. This is, for the most part, games I think are going to be in the launch window. So, well, I shouldn't say launch window, launch year. So we're going to say from summer of this year to spring of 2026. I would imagine these games would come out in that time frame. And granted, a lot of these games we've kind of talked before. Some of them have been rumored, but again, wild speculation. I'm casting a wide net for games that I would like to see, but also games I think would make sense and we could see on the Switch too. Let's start with Square Enix. Mostly it's just on the Square side, because I think all the Enix games, the Enix side, like the Enix remake games, like your Dragon Quest and things like that, they've already been kind of announced for the Switch, so I think we'll be getting them on Switch too, or at least backwards compatibility. But I think both Final Fantasy VII Remake games are going to come, especially Remake. I think Remake is definitely coming to the Switch too, and I think they'd get Rebirth running on the Switch too. And if they get Rebirth running on the Switch 2, what's to stop them from getting Final Fantasy 16 to also run on the Switch 2? Again, I'm thinking first full year of the system. So, Remake maybe is a launch title or a launch window title. and then we get Rebirth and 16 sometime in the next year. Like maybe we get 16 Christmas time, January time, and then maybe next March, next summer we get Rebirth. And you kind of space those games out too. And then also, if we booster up Switch Online, why not Final Fantasy 14 Online? Get that on the Switch. I mean, that's a pay-for-play service, so you get more subscribers that way. Maybe someone who doesn't play on the PC, they don't have an Xbox, they don't have a PlayStation, but, they own a Switch, and they're going to get a Switch too. Final Fantasy 14 could be a nice little gateway for them on the Switch too to play, and that'd be really cool to have it in that fashion of console and mobile, because then you can play it sitting in your man cave, sitting in your room, and then you can take it on the go if you got Wi-Fi. Just a perfect way to play it. Next up, I got on my list EA, Electronic Arts. I think it's a given. We're going to get the next Madden, maybe the current Madden. Maybe they already have it brewing it would premiere in the spring, just to give you a taste. Maybe have it at a discounted price, and then, next fall. No, that wouldn't make any sense, because I'm still in that mindset of the original Switch release that we're getting the system in March for some reason. We're not getting it till the summer. So, I mean, the next Madden might not launch with the system, because I think Madden's been moving earlier and earlier now. I think Madden does come out in July now. But yeah, get Madden in that launch window. The next FC game, or the current FC game, I'm not quite sure how they're going to do the release for that, because I think this year was the first year for the FC series, so that would be a way for them to launch that too. Just kind of get it in the summer, maybe at a discounted price, unless they're going to do it yearly. Then you just kind of wait for the next year's game to come out, which would probably be somewhere around Madden. So boom, you get there. And then I'm probably going to get comments about this one, but I think Dragon Age Veilguard, it would be smart if it doesn't cost too much to port it. Just from recent reports of how it's lost money for the company, and because it's failed and done poorly, and I might do a video on that. I haven't thought about it. Oh, I have thought about it, but I haven't really put a lot of thought into it, I should say. But yeah, so I mean, it's failed, it's lost money. But you put it on the Switch. Someone who doesn't have an Xbox, doesn't have a PlayStation, might be interested in it, because I know a lot of people shit on the art. And I think if you're a Dragon Age Origins, just Dragon Age player, you might not like that artwork. But I did think, because I enjoyed Origins. I'm not the biggest Dragon Age fan. So when Veilguard came out, when the trailer released and I saw the art, I was like, that's kind of cool. It didn't blow me away by any means, but I wasn't as offended by the art as a lot of people. But, someone who's not really into the Dragon Age games but might think it looks cool, you release it on the Switch. Again, they don't have an Xbox, they don't have a PlayStation. They might pick it up for, a fun fantasy game to play, kind of thing. So that is an avenue EA could take to recoup. Again, depending on how much it would cost to port it to the Switch too. I don't work in the gaming industry, so I don't know how much extra money when a game's done does it cost to port it. So if it's not too much to port it, I'd roll the dice. You've already lost a ton of money on it anyways. What's losing a few bucks more? In fact, you might, break even if you do this, because maybe the Switch owners aren't as tuned into gaming news as the rest of us, so they might not know how mediocre that game is, and they might want to give it a play. And then, maybe you can go in and change a few things that piss people off about the game, EA, and, maybe edit some stuff out and make the game more likable to some people. Just a thought. All right. Namco. The only two I've got for Namco right now is Tekken 8 and Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball Super Sparking. Or Dragon Ball Sparking, maybe. I don't know if it's Z or Super. Maybe it's just Dragon Ball Sparking. But I think those are a no-brainer. If the Switch 2 can run them, which by all accounts it should be able to, throw those two fighting games on there, Namco. Nail it. Do what you always do. Give us like a Namco museum port where you throw Pac-Man and all the old games in there. All right, and moving right along, we come to FromSoft now, and, Elden Ring, given. That's going to be on the Switch too, for sure. And I think they can do, the Souls games, Demon Souls, Dark Souls, put those on the Switch. I don't know if you get individual releases or maybe make some sort of like 2-pack, like maybe Demon and Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 and 3, kind of a 2-pack kind of thing like that. I don't know. Anniversary release, but you got to feel the FromSoft games, maybe even Armored Core coming to the Switch. I mean, it only makes sense. Again, the Switch sold 150 plus million units, and the Switch 2 is going to have a huge launch. It probably won't sell, nearly as much as the Switch did, but it's going to sell a ton. I would say, it will probably outsell, the PS5. Definitely going to outsell the Xbox Series X next generation. So, I mean, it's just kind of a no-brainer if the system can run these FromSoft games, which it should be able to from everything we've heard. Then, put them on there. Maybe get a bunch of new players on there. And, there are those fans of series that they will rebuy a game if they played it years ago and beat it, and a version comes out for a newer system. They're like, I'll just play the newer version, kind of thing like that. So I think that will work for sales. Moving right along, we're coming to Konami. Not too much, because Konami's kind of just getting back into making games again, and they're end up being remakes. But I think Metal Gear Solid Delta, again, that's one of the rumored ones. I think that is kind of a gimme. And then I think the Silent Hill 2 remake, I think that's going to come too. That's been doing pretty well sales-wise. I think you put it on the Switch 2. Again, with the big launch it's going to have, you're probably going to have a new audience who don't have a PlayStation to buy it. And is Silent Hill 2 on the Xbox? I can't remember. I don't remember, but yeah, I think that's kind of an easy no-brainer for Konami. And now, coming up to two big ones, Capcom. I think you put all the Resident Evil remakes out on the system. I think, again, kind of no-brainer, 2, 3, 4 on the system. And then, you bring 7 and 8 to the Switch 2. Maybe Exoprimal, their new IP. It's a fun game, too. If you've missed out on Exoprimal, I think it already left Game Pass, so can't get it there. But I know it's kind of discounted. But it's a fun game. I would definitely play it. Hopefully, because it's a PvE kind of game. Hopefully, there's still people playing it, so you can play with other people. But when that came out and it launched on Game Pass, I had a blast playing that game. I was really hoping it was going to somehow connect to Dino Crisis, and maybe we'd get kind of like, hey, Dino Crisis remake coming, or new Dino Crisis games coming. But alas, still no Dino Crisis game. But if I really want to get wild speculation, Dino Crisis remake, Switch 2 launch game. But no, I'm not that dumb. But yeah, I think the Resident Evil remakes and 7 and 8 are kind of, again, no-brainers to come to the system. I don't think there would be any 2-packs here. I think you would just get the individual releases, and probably you'd space them out. Maybe 4 you'd launch with the system, since that's the newest game. Or maybe you start with 2 and you go 2, 3, 4. In that sense. But maybe it would make sense to launch with 4, because 4 originally was a GameCube exclusive. So launching the system with 4, kind of makes sense right there. But yeah, those are the ones I see coming from Capcom. Probably another Mega Man collection also. I don't doubt that. Oh, Monster Hunter. Why wasn't I thinking Monster Hunter? I don't have Monster Hunter written down. I don't know why. I don't know if you would do a port of one of the current Monster Hunters, but given how Capcom with the Monster Hunter games since the Wii U, I want to say, because I remember when I was at PAX, right around the Wii U launch, and they had just had the big Monster Hunter display Capcom did for the DS and the Wii U. So since around the DS time, Capcom's been a big supporter of Nintendo with Monster Hunter. So launching the system, launch window, launch year, with a Monster Hunter game, whether it be a port of one of the current Monster Hunters or a brand new Monster Hunter, I think makes perfect sense. And I don't know why I didn't write that down, and it just came to me as I was doing that. But it's the beauty of not live TV. Last up for third party, Microsoft, Bethesda, Activision, just Microsoft Studios as a whole. Halo Master Chief Collection, maybe Infinite, maybe 4 or 5, something like that. We're going to get some Halo. We know that. Coming to the system, Fallout 4, I think. Again, that's one of the big rumored titles for the launch window. I think Sea of Thieves, I don't know if that, I know that came to the PlayStation. Did that come to the Switch? I don't think it did. But Sea of Thieves coming to the Switch too, especially if they make a better online atmosphere. I would really like to see Doom the Dark Ages. I know Doom 2016 is on the Switch. I think Doom Eternal came too. Bethesda's been doing a great job with these cloud ports and partially download, partially streaming with their games like they did with Skyrim. So I really think they could get Doom Dark Ages running. Maybe not launch window, but maybe next year we get Doom the Dark Ages on Switch, which I'd be tempted to get it a second time. Like I'll get it on Game Pass when it comes to the Xbox, but playing that on the go, I might do that because I'm so excited for Dark Ages. COD is of course coming. We know that. Here's kind of one because it's being made by Platinum Games, and they've got a great or co-made by Platinum Games. They got a great working relationship with Nintendo, but Ninja Gaiden 4, I think, could definitely come to the Switch too. It's being published by Microsoft. Microsoft has no problem with putting games on other systems now. So again, Platinum Games has a great relationship with Nintendo. So seeing that game come to Nintendo, I don't doubt that. And maybe even Ninja Gaiden 2 remastered coming to the Switch too. And then kind of lastly with Microsoft is a new Rare game, or a Rare remake, Rare IP, something from Rare coming to the Nintendo system. A new Rare game or like a remake, remastered Rare game coming to the Switch. I think just nostalgia wise, I think you get a lot of Nintendo fanboys, me included, buying that Rare game just because it's Rare publishing a new game on a Nintendo hardware. I think just no brainer, easy grab, home run. The game just has to be like a 65 above on Metacritic, and I think it sells 5 million copies easy. And last but not least, Nintendo, first party. I mean, there's just so many games we can speculate about that. I think the ones we know we're going to get in that launch window, Mario Kart 9, or whatever they're going to call the new Mario Kart game, because they kind of hinted at it and previewed it in the Nintendo 64, the Nintendo Switch 2 teaser video. And I think a new 3D Mario game. It's been a little over 7 years since the last one. And they've been working on something. They might have thought of bringing a sequel out on the Switch, but they're like, you know what? We're getting ready to launch that Switch 2. We haven't launched a system with a Mario game, like a new entry in the Mario series, maybe since the 64, because GameCube had Luigi's Mansion, the Wii had Sports, Wii U, I don't know what Wii U launched with, maybe New Super Mario Brothers U, so technically, and the Switch had Zelda, so we haven't had a Mario launch a system since the N64, so putting that back. And then I think Metroid Prime 4, I think that's going to get kind of like a dual Breath of the Wild kind of treatment, Twilight Princess kind of treatment, where we pushed the development took so long, we got the new system coming out, but we promised it for the old system. So here you go, old system, new system, here you go. Maybe some better graphics, maybe some better frame rates or something like that. And speaking of Zelda Twilight Princess, the often and long rumored Wind Waker Twilight Princess 2-pack that we were kind of not offered, rumored to be getting, that's been in the can for a while, or maybe just two separate releases, one of Wind Waker and one of Twilight Princess. I would imagine Wind Waker would come first, but maybe we get one at launch, then we get one the next year, so we get a new Zelda every year, which has kind of been Nintendo's roadmap for Zelda for, I think, since Breath of the Wild, maybe even before that, because we'd get some on the 3DS, we'd get them on the Switch and the Wii U, so look for those remakes, those long rumored remakes to show up in that first year as well. I think Splatoon 4 is going to be one of those ones. We had Splatoon 3 with the Switch, maybe Splatoon 2. Yeah, Splatoon 2 was a Switch because Splatoon was Wii, and then the first couple years of the Switch we got Splatoon 2, and then we got Splatoon 3. I would imagine in the first year we're going to get Splatoon 4, maybe first 2 years. But my two big wild swings here for Nintendo, I think we'll get one of them in that first year, and maybe one down the road. But two dormant franchises, F-Zero and Star Fox, I think they're both due. And in the last year, with the celebration we've gotten for F-Zero, with the F-Zero 99 and a couple other things on Switch Online, also on Nintendo's website, I think we're going to get a new F-Zero game. And I think we're going to get it in that launch window, maybe even a launch game, to really show off the processing power, the speed, and everything the Switch can do as kind of a showcase game. I really think that's what a new F-Zero game will do for the Switch 2. And then just give me a Star Fox game, Miyamoto. I just straight up Star Fox. We're flying a ship. I don't need the tank. I don't need the sub. I don't need the little robot walking thing from 2, and then that was also from 0. Just give me a straight up space flying game, Star Fox. Give me like 3D roaming all around the stage and then some linear stages. Give me that. Give me all of that, because that can also show off the power of the Switch 2. But there you have it. Those are my wild speculations for the first year. Again, I stress the first year. Not the launch, but the first year, because imagine if all those games launched on the Switch. That would be phenomenal. But no, that's my guesses for that first year of the Switch 2. Did I hit on something that you think might come out? What are some wild speculations you have for that first year of the Switch 2? Let me know in the comments below. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Give me some likes. I've been getting a couple comments. I don't know who you are, but you've appeared on my timeline and I watched your video. Some people like it and some people don't. But, you all commenting, you all liking and sharing have gotten, the videos out there. We're on the road to 500 subscribers by the end of March before we go to Japan. Because I do want to do some fun live streams while I'm in Japan. And you guys can, say, hey, look for this game. See if you can find this game. See if you can find the system. And then, Keenan and I talked about live streaming some of our trips to the bars where, we sit down, we have a pint with you guys. We have some sushi, we have some ramen, we do some stuff, we hang out, we just chat. Keenan and I talk about what we saw that day and things like that. So just some fun IRL streams that we got planned for Japan, and I definitely want as many of you there to chit chat with us as possible. So thank you for hanging out. Have a great rest of your day. I will probably see you tomorrow, if not the day after that. Take care now. Bye.